My brother gave me a bucket of pig poop. Now, before you get jealous, you need to know there was a reason. Or maybe you don't care. Maybe you've got a poop guy, but you got to be careful. You can't just get poop from anybody on the corner at night. You need to know it's a good quality poop. And this was my brother raises his own hogs, and he feeds them organically, right out of the disgusting stuff that comes out of the compost pile. So it's good. And he knows all about horticulture. That's what he does. So he was telling me how much poop to put inside of each one of those pots. And then you mix it all up with your hands. And if you do it right, it will grow the most amazing tomato plants and peppers and squash. Oh man, it's great. But you got to get your hands in there and you got to mix it all up real good. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. There's got to be a lesson in this somewhere, and there is. And the lesson is that with God, um, some of the best stuff can come out of some of the worst stuff. It's like we know the story of Joseph when he said to his brothers, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." I think most people are familiar with that concept. Bad things come into your life, tragedy comes into your life, things are not fair, and somehow God takes all that and turns it into something good. But I want to give you kind of a different perspective on it. Let's say, for example, that you have a problem with rage. And so you tend to blow up. It's almost like you don't have control. You tend to blow up at people and you are way too harsh on them. It's kind of like shooting a cockroach with a shotgun. You just overwhelming, and it's caused you to lose a lot of friends. And your wife is scared to take you out in public. She doesn't know what's going to happen, and it's caused a lot of shame in your life, a lot of guilt. You want to get over it, but you've tried and tried, and it does seem like that you can. And you kind of live with that, and you feel like this is just who I am. And yet, there comes a time where you're ready for God to give you a promotion. And you realize at that time that without every one of these incidences where you've blown up in rage, without those things, you wouldn't be ready for this promotion. It's created inside of you a kind of guilt and a kind of shame and a sense of identity with something that is very, very negative. But at the same time, it's created in you a great desire to not be that way anymore. And when you take that desire and you couple it with the power of the Holy Spirit, God is able to take this horrible pig poop in your life and grow up out of it somebody that is beautiful and strong and full of the fruits of the Spirit who would not exist in that way without all of this garbage and poop in your life. God brings you up into something that you couldn't be without the fertilizer. Wow, that's amazing. And this is true not only with rage, but with so many other things like alcoholism. You think, this is just who I am. I'll never be over this. No, not with the power of God. That's absolutely not true. With alcoholism, drug addiction, pornography, gambling, gluttony, things like depression and anxiety, gossip, all kinds of things that you live with this stuff and think, I'll never be any different. Yes, you will. And God will use all of those times in your life that seemed like kid poop and fertilizer in your life. And He's going to use that to grow out of that mess somebody beautiful and strong and full of encouragement and joy that couldn't have existed without the fertilizer. Hey, I hope that's encouraging to you. Be sure to share this with your friends.